All right, so we are officially recording. Let me quickly share my screen to share the agenda with you guys. So what is our agenda? So this is our agenda. So we just got through check-ins, and then we started the recording. And now I want to quickly take a minute to explain what Open Spaces is. Open Spaces is the place where the Cardano community comes together to decide where Gimbalabs goes. As in, we'll decide the direction Gimbalabs takes, and we'll decide how to spend Gimbalabs treasury. Is that a sufficient definition, James, Lewis? Do you guys want to add a couple more words to how open space is defined? Okay, all right.
That feels exciting. No, well said.
All right. So we have a couple of quick announcements here. Good news, by the way. So we have two Catalyst proposals that have passed for Catalyst Fund 14. Was it Fund 14? Yeah, it is Fund 14. And the two proposals are Gimbalabs Cross Vesper and Sustain and Maintain Gimbalabs. These are the two proposals that passed for us. I'm not too sure about Gimbalabs Cross Vesper, but Sustain and
I have
Maintain.
no idea what that is. Anybody know about that?
Wait, so nobody, because we were also wondering, I thought it was either, it has to be either you, me, or Sebastian.
Vesper the wallet. That's
We'll ask Paban what he's thinking.
no idea what
Or maybe we should directly go ask Vesper Wallet what they are thinking.
Yeah, please.
Okay. And the second one is Sustain and Maintain, which is what funds this space and the other spaces that we host at Gimbalabs. And the links are right here. If anyone wants the links, I will share them in the chat. Where do I find chat? Right here, I'll share the links in the chat. So this one is Sustain and Maintain. And if someone wants to take a look at the Vesper link and figure out who created that, this is the link. 1 second. There you go. So these are the two proposals that have passed. And now for proposals, does anyone have any proposals that need to be consented on? Let us quickly take a look. So there are a bunch of proposals in planning. Tools, but none of them need to be consented on right now. I think if someone has something in mind, please come forward. We'll put it on the agenda. If not, we'll move to the next step of the agenda. Yeah, so there are no proposals for this time, but next week we will have a proposal about which spaces, because we need to start off like the Sustain and Maintain Gimbalabs proposal. All right. So the next thing in the agenda is the funding for profit initiatives. Let me share the link for this. So this is just something that we got based on our discussion last week in the open space. We discussed a bunch of things, and this is just like a framework, or at least like the important points based on our discussions last week. Let me share that, and then I'll share that same thing on my screen as well. All right. So this is what we have. So do you guys want to go through this and let me know what you think? So based on our discussions, this is what ChatGPT told us. It said to provide fair, transparent, and principled guidance on. So the purpose of this document is to provide fair, transparent, and principled guidance for how Gimbalabs allocates community time, attention, and treasury funds while staying true to our driver. And our driver is to provide open, replicable, safe spaces to learn, explore, and empower individuals, organizations, and organizations anywhere so that we can solve meaningful problems. So I have a quick question, James, or anyone with an opinion. So we have this document and we need to consent on the stuff inside this document. How do we go about that?
Yeah, so like, right, if we're going to have a document that we refer to for future decision making, I think the goal is to outline what are, yeah, principles feel like a good place to start. That's what I would start with. And then what it means to have those principles, right? So like this helps us guide how we think about our goals.
Sounds good. So last week we discussed about open source or closed source, which by the end of the day, we decided, hey, it doesn't matter if the project is open source or closed source. We decided that the project itself matters because context matters. So that was the summary of our discussion for last week. So how do we put that into a policy? So this is what like ChatGPT said. It said open source is encouraged, but not required. What matters is open contribution, that Gimbalabs members can meaningfully participate, learn from, and build upon funded work. How does this line sound to you guys? Does that make sense? Would this be a guiding line to you? Would you refer back to this and say, hey, based on this line, I can make a decision?
And if there's maybe I wasn't here last week, and maybe there's already been conversation on this, but personally, I'm much more comfortable with the idea of open source. Open contribution sounds a bit ambiguous. We can either show what we're doing or we can't through cloud sources like GitHub. Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. So the origin of the discussion was this, Andrew. So we were trying to decide if we want to fund Maureen's proposal, which might or might not be open source, and it is a for-profit proposal, I think. And we wanted to get clarity on how to consent on those kinds of proposals. So we wanted to build a policy document, which will be our reference to go back to whenever we want to fund a for-profit initiative. Is that fair to say, James? Am I getting that right?
Yeah, keep going. I think Andrew and you are onto something. I think the thing, and for me, like just my number one priority is I think I want to see word opportunity, right? Like Gimbalabs members can meaningfully participate. Like we're creating opportunities for these things to happen.
So when you say opportunity, are you speaking about opportunity for the Gimbalabs community or opportunity for Cardano projects and developers in general?
That's a good question. Right. What do you think? That's at the heart of it.
I'd like to chime in. I remember last week you mentioned about for Maureen's proposal to work, you'd like it to benefit the Gimbalabs team, not team, people participating in the Gimbalabs ecosystem. So I'd say maybe Gimbalabs.
Yeah, I think that's right. I mean, people who are somehow meaningfully here, having an opportunity to do something that helps them in their goals.
So how do we phrase that if we have to phrase it here? Open source is encouraged but not required. What matters is open. That Gimbalabs members can
Yeah, I think that first part is perfect. And highlighting open contribution is great. That Gimbalabs members have the opportunity to participate.
Okay.
Maybe that's all.
Yeah, okay, let me change that up. Oh, am I not able to edit this? What happened? One second, I'm just trying to edit this and I don't know what's going on. Is anyone able to edit this document?
Oh, you're not logged in on this tab.
Oh, I see. Let me
wonder.
try.
1 second.
No. Oh, maybe this is Newman's personal tab. I can actually copy paste this in something that we can all edit together.
Hold on. Oh, really? Is it a private doc?
Are you in the Gimbalabs? You were. Yeah.
Oh, it says start here / oh, because I just put the link. Maybe this is a private one. I don't know. It says Gimbalabs Notion. I don't know. Is anyone else able to edit with access to Notion? Louis, James?
I'm looking for it.
I'm pretty sure I
Like
can,
this.
but I can't find that actual file.
I can give you the link one more time. So I just posted the link for this. Hey, James, while you do this, I have a quick question. Have we as Gimbalabs ever consented on policy before this?
Like a simple example would be that people get a Notion account and it's paid for when they write a proposal. I think that's a good example of a policy.
Oh, so you would call that a policy more than a proposal? Okay, I think that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, right. Like, because a lot of our proposals are projects that have a definite scope, but sometimes we do something with just a longer term scope. And this would be an example of that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Okay.
I was able to edit it over here if you refresh. I think you just need to log in though, Harsha.
Log in. I'm just like looking for a login button.
Top right.
This one?
The three
It's not,
dots.
it's not particularly
Oh,
obvious.
there it is. Yeah, I found it. Logged in and so every time I get onto this page, it's asked me to log in and then it takes me back to this page. And then I go back to this page and again, it's a
Try
circular
this link
thing.
here. I'm going to drop you a better link. Give me
Okay.
1 sec. Here. Try this.
Oh, yes. Oh, I wonder where it went wrong. Okay, so back to the policy. So we just need to change this to so that Gimbalabs members have opportunities to participate, learn from, and build upon funded work. Okay, this makes sense. So say, for example, anyone that was there for Maureen's proposal, if Maureen said, hey, along with the $20,000 that I asked, I want Gimbalabs members to come and help me build this project. Would you think it would have been easier to make a decision on that, James or anyone else?
I would have consented to that. Yeah.
Makes sense. Okay. Okay. Because I agree with that. I personally would also have consented to that. Okay. So this brings a lot of clarity. Alignment before funding. We fund projects. So is everyone good with the previous one? This one, open contribution over open source? Or should we change the?
Yeah, thank you.
James is good. So if no one has any concerns, we can move to the next point. Alignment before funding. We fund projects that align with Gimbalabs driver, advancing education, collaboration, or tools that empower the ecosystem. If it benefits both the proposer and Gimbalabs, it's likely a good fit. So let me give you another example. So I am going to create like a meme token or an NFT project, like a standard meme token or NFT project. And I'm saying, hey, I want Gimbalabs community members to help me with that. Is that like a good alignment with what Gimbalabs wants to do? I'm just curious.
You know, if there's somebody here who's been hanging out and wants to learn about meme coins, then maybe, right?
So with this, I am thinking I would go back to this to provide open, replicable safe spaces to learn, explore, and empower. I guess like if someone's building a project, even if it's a meme or an NFT, standard NFT project, as long as they bring on Gimbalabs members and they can learn from it, it's fine. Yeah, that makes sense to me, I guess. Is there any other thing that we would say no to? Say any random project comes and they would say, hey, we are open for Gimbalabs to come build, like so that Gimbalabs members can come build. When would we say no? Is there anything that we would say no to? Any instances you guys can think of?
Scams?
What is that? Scams? Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, if we can identify that it's a scam, sure.
But I would say just if nobody here is interested, we say no.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're a pretty open book, but it has to sort of feel right, doesn't it? I think that's
And historically, I mean, when in earlier iterations of Gimbalabs, myself included for sure, like we did projects that were like, yeah, we don't know if we really care that much about this, but we are learning something. So it kind of fits in historically.
No, so I want to bring up something. So I remember some projects that just come in because they don't have enough funding, and they're just like, hey, Gimbalabs, can you come build this for us? And as soon as they get money, they'll go to someone else. Like, that kind of thing also.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So is this good enough for now and safe enough to try this part? We fund projects that align with Gimbalabs driver or not? Or does that not make sense? Like, do we care if it aligns with Gimbalabs driver?
Yeah, I mean, we have to go through this process, right? Like, I think the key thing is we have this consent process that means, yeah, like let's try to align to the driver, right? But that's kind of a gray area, and it's something that you would argue about for an individual proposal.
Makes sense. Okay, so just leave it open enough so that the consent process can do its thing. Okay.
Does that make sense? Like, I feel like this is a nice one to interpret.
It makes sense to me. What do you guys think? Because Andrew specifically said it has to feel right. And my assumption is that the consent process decides whether it feels right or not. But do you think we need to put it into words as well, Andrew?
Yes, putting things into words isn't really a strong point. We should probably all kind of realize by now. But I don't know. But obviously, there's an element of risk to all this. But
for sure.
In my time here, there's been far more wins than there's been losses. And I think what's been great about Gimbalabs is not being really afraid to try things. And I think when you engage people and you get people involved, good things happen. But if you come sort of like some sort of federated organization, that's when people's noses get put out a little bit. It's hard to put it, and I think the nature of Gimbalabs itself makes it very difficult to put into a couple of sentences what it's all about, because we are open to the idea of new things, but it's about community involvement and getting people, people who want to come and learn and want to keep and get involved and be in a community, then that's kind of what it's all about. Yeah, but I just remember that the obviously we had a couple of sessions. I can't remember what it was, where we tried to define the driver, and we went round and round, and we ended up kind of with the same thing. And yeah, it's a process to go through, but I, I, I just think I don't think we can put. I think everything has sort of left a little bit open-ended, by the nature of what Gimbalabs is.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I agree with that. So is this safe enough to try? We fund projects that align with Gimbalabs driver, advancing education, collaboration, or tools that empower the ecosystem. If it benefits both the proposer and Gimbalabs, it's likely a good fit. Safe enough to try? Thumbs up so that we can move on to the next one. So we'll give this 15 more minutes. So it is 8:30. We'll go for the next 15 minutes and we'll go through how much ever we can go through and then move on to the next one. We can come back to this next week and then go back to it. What do you guys think? Are you okay with that, or do you want to go through the whole thing today? Any opinions on that?
I mean, we can go through the whole thing today. I'm looking at what's next. Not really much, apart from the hackathon and the DRA platform.
So
I mean, unless
hackathon
there's
is
any bids.
Timesar or any of the, so Jethro is here to talk about the hackathon.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, cool. All right.
We can add 5 more minutes on top of the 30 minutes set aside.
Okay, cool. So 15 more minutes is what I'm thinking. 15 more minutes.
Okay.
We'll see where we are at that point. So
Okay.
if there is no concerns with this line, and if you think it's safe enough to try, we'll go to context matters. And that line says, funding decisions are made case by case. Some closed source projects may be justified, example for security or business reasons, which is the point that Adrian brought up last time. And if they still serve the broader mission, then so basically it's saying context matters. I feel like this line is pretty safe to keep it in. Does anyone have any strong feelings or any concerns or opinions on this line?
It really represents what we've been doing, it seems like.
Yeah. Yep. All right. So if this is safe enough to try, let's go to the next one. Mutual benefit, not extraction. When Gimbalabs supports a for-profit venture, the community should receive some form of reciprocal value, a stake, shared ownership, learning outcomes, or reinvestment into the commons. How do you feel about this? Because I feel strongly about this part, specifically for for-profit initiatives.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
No, I have a question before we even proceed.
Go
What
ahead,
do you
go
mean
ahead.
by not extraction?
So non-extraction is that a project comes, it extracts resources from Gimbalabs and gives, and like people might not really learn something. Say, for example, it comes and it takes some developers and makes them do some work and they haven't learned anything new or anything. And then it just like takes the work and goes away. So they've basically extracted time and resources from Gimbalabs while not giving back much. And this is a random example I'm giving, but those kind of instances. Can you think of any instances where there have been individuals or teams that tried to extract from Gimbalabs without naming any names, James or anyone else? Can you think of any?
Yeah, Andamio took a bunch of Gimbalabs devs and started a company.
Well,
I mean, so like but the point is like, where's the line, right? So
exactly, yeah.
If people are working and learning here, but then want to go off and do something, that's fabulous.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think, right, like just giving a way to talk about that.
So I agree. Does anyone have any specific, so outside of learning, say they don't want Gimbalabs community to join the project or to work on the project, but they still want Gimbalabs funds. Can we fund a project like that and ask for something else in return outside of saying, hey, we need the Gimbalabs community to work on our project?
I don't think they're coming to the right. If somebody comes in with that sort of attitude, I don't think they're coming to the right place in the first place. I'm quite happy with what number 4 says, but it's not devs for hire here. Yeah, sorry, I'm not sure how much I got cut off in my last rant when I dropped my last spiel when I dropped off. But
No, doesn't matter. Doesn't
yeah,
matter. Keep it going. Yeah.
no, yeah, I think that's fair. Number 4. Yeah.
So the reason I'm asking is there are 4 things that are mentioned here. So there are learning outcomes, and we are focusing on learning outcomes, right? So in case a project does not offer learning outcomes, will these things suffice? A stake, shared ownership, stake and shared ownership are basically the same thing, or reinvestment into commons.
I guess a learning outcome could be educational material. So, like, I've just been doing the PPBL videos. But say if there was a project that came along and wanted some Gimbalabs involvement, maybe Gimbalabs didn't get any sort of financial thing out of it, but what they did get is some educational content. I think that's kind of fair. So I think it's kind of okay to leave that in my opinion.
Leave what in a stake and a shared ownership, because learning out. So
Sorry,
when
the learning outcomes. Yeah.
Yeah, the learning outcomes is what we are discussing in general. Like the Gimbalabs community learns something, they get something out of it. But outside of the learning outcomes, if a project only offers these, what happens then? If there are no learning
Yeah, I
outcomes,
think
so
we
that
maybe need to be
Mhm.
maybe we need to be open-minded to that. I mean, funding is gradually drying up, I think, with the nature of I mean, I don't have no crystal ball. I'm not quite sure what's going to happen with Catalyst going forward. Um, I've got some sort of strongish views about where a lot of the funding's going, but I'm going to go into that. But what that does mean is that I worry for the likes of Gimbalabs, and that's great. There's been funding this time round. Fantastic. But how long can Gimbalabs rely on it? So again, I think we need to have an open mind.
Mhm. I agree. I mean, personally, I agree. And what do others think about this? Like, how are you thinking about how we'll get to sustainability? Because this seems like a sustainability thing to me. Does anyone have any visions of how Gimbalabs will reach that place?
thought the Darton Dons thing is excellent, by the way. You know, that's a great example of what could become something that provides financial value back. But obviously, you know, to the developers doing it, but also possibly, you know, to Gimbalabs a little bit in terms of platform.
Yep. So I am okay with this line, but I need like others to let me know what they have in their mind. James, Adrian, Lewis.
Yeah, one thing I really like about this clause is that it captures the idea in the consent process where we are asking each other to spend time. And I think a core part of what we're doing at Gimbalabs is we're really making sure that people are opting in to spending time on whatever project they might jump into.
Mhm.
And so for me, what number 4 captures is that like nobody else here can say, hey, since you're, to be a member here, you have to do this particular thing. Right. And I think
Mhm.
that alone is very powerful. So yeah, I'm optimistic that this is pretty complete because it represents that.
Okay, makes sense. Makes sense. Any other opinions before we move to the next one? All right, so we have agreed to the first 5 points. Moving on to the next one. Sustainability is a shared responsibility. Profit motive is not a bug. It's a feature when used responsibly. Gimbalab should sustain itself through cycles of value creation and reinvestment. So this seems like a guiding principle in general, like saying, hey, don't be scared of saying Gimbalabs will have some chunk of money here and there. Yeah, I mean, this line, I feel like it is reasonably safe, like it doesn't add or take away much. What do you guys think? So James has a thumbs up. Anyone has any strong opinions on this one? Profit motive is not a
Sorry,
bug.
that's for the sustainability is a shared responsibility. Okay.
Yes.
I
Yes.
thought it was consent. All right.
Yeah. So we are saying Gimbalabs is not scared to look for a profit anymore, as long as it's more like a responsible way of bringing in profit. That's my understanding. And yeah. Okay.
Okay, that makes sense.
All right. So consent over consensus is the next point. Funding decisions are made through Sociocracy 3.0 consent process. Objections are welcome as opportunities for improvement, not resistance. I think this is like a consent thing. This is what we do in consent. We don't necessarily bring up objections to stop something, but to improve something. I think this is also another guiding principle as opposed to like an absolute policy. I'm okay with this. Any strong opinions? James gave a thumbs up. Anyone else has any strong concerns or objections to this? All right. Moving on to the next one. Learning is the ultimate output. I think, yeah, every funded project should document and share its learnings, whether the project succeeds or not. That's how we compound value. I think this makes a lot of sense. What do you guys think?
I agree. It's very important to keep track of everything you've done throughout the whole process, right? How you'll be able to identify patterns easier if I'm able to understand what you did, yeah, that led you to your success and what you did that made you fail, you know? So documentation should be key.
Makes
Right.
sense.
I'm gonna give an example. When I was doing my 100 days and I was documenting every single day. Yeah, I was able to identify the challenges I was facing and things I did right and things I did wrong. So yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree with that. Maybe this one I feel like is a very strong policy decision. Every project that is funded by Gimbalabs is basically documented. And I don't know what documented means. Like, what exactly is documented? So I have a question specifically for Andrew. Since we did the Asteria project, would you say Asteria project is documented?
It's documented in the way that it's an open source project that anyone can come and have a look at how it's been implemented. I mean, we were absolutely the first ones to use Mesh to implement the not the off-chain code. Yeah, and yes, yes, I won't talk around the houses. Yeah, I believe it was documented.
Okay.
I don't think there needs to be a specific way that we document, as long as there's something that people can go back to and pick up. And I think somebody else made this point a few weeks ago. If somebody wants to go somewhere else with Asteria, they could pick up that GitHub repo and do something else with it, and they could carry on.
Mhm.
And I
Makes
think
sense.
that's
Yeah. So what
I
I'm
think that's
hearing
sort of the
from
main
you,
thing.
Andrew, is that open source is its own kind of documentation. But does anyone have like opposing views or some concerns with that idea? Or are open source and documentation two completely separate things? In at least in the context of Gimbalabs, what are we looking for when we say documentation? Does anyone have any opinions on that?
I would never want to stop doing live coding sessions just because they're poorly documented, for example, right? Like I think there's different ways to communicate what's out there.
Mhm.
And so understanding that great documentation should always be a goal. But there's other modes of learning that we also look at.
Yep. No, so for example, this documentation, so for example, we say no matter which project is funded by Gimbalabs, it has to be documented. What are we asking from them? Like, what are they supposed to give out, like as an output in terms of this line?
Why don't we change it from document to record? So
Record?
it should be recorded, because that's much more open-ended. I mean, I'm not sure document is meant to be literally in that respect.
What if we just say that, from the proposal perspective, you are expected to come back and share out. Share outs happen on the last Thursday of every month, right? And so whatever people bring back, there's some learnings. And ideally we have just an expectation that there's something to show for it, right? Whether it's written docs or a video recording or whatever.
Yeah. So every funded project should share their learnings last Thursday of every week.
Yeah, at monthly review sessions, which happen on the last Thursday.
Are we also going to include the financials? I mean, it's a for-profit.
I mean, it depends, no, because not all projects are for profit. Like we fund a lot of projects that are educational and stuff like that. So every funded project should share learnings on the last Thursday of every month. And the expectation is that they should have something to show for it. And I hate that sentence in general, like this whole sentence, and I don't know how to correct it. Does anyone have, I mean, please jump in and correct this sentence because it's just reading pretty weird.
That's great.
Okay. So I'll correct this sentence, but is everyone okay with this? So last Thursday of every month, any project that is in progress comes out and shares what they are doing. And the expectation is that they also have some artifacts to show us and not just words. I mean, words as in coming from their mouth, not documentation. So if we are good with this, I think we pretty much went through the whole policy. So James, this is a specific question for you. With this policy in hand, would you be able to consent to Maureen's proposal?
Ooh, good question. Hold on, I'm working on the wording here, but that's I would love to hear what people think about that.
Could you phrase that question again? I mean, I didn't get that.
So now that we have this document, how would this document inform your decision on a proposal like the Ada experts one we read from last week?
Yes. So I can quickly give my thoughts on it. So I am able to immediately like have a decision on Ada experts, specifically because of one main thing, which is, where is that? Where is that line? This line. because in that proposal, I feel like we're not getting any of these. So for me, at least from my side, I would have to say no because of this specific line right here. A stake,
Okay.
shared ownership, learning outcomes, or reinvestment of commons. Yeah.
What about like placements? Yeah. I mean, I think it's more of a connecting platform. Or rather, Gimbalabs participants get top priority. Don't know.
So no, I have no doubt that the project is really helpful for the Cardano community. I have no doubt about that. But I am looking at this line. Should receive some form of reciprocal value for Gimbalabs. Specifically, that is.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's where I stand. What about you guys? Anyone else have any opinions? So does everyone know about what we are talking about? Or do you guys want me
again,
to?
I guess.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Sorry. So when we're talking about value,
Mm-hmm.
maybe we don't necessarily need to be taking a financial value from it. If the I think Maureen is talking about it being closed source. I wasn't here last week, so I don't know. I've just
So
been quickly reading through it.
can I quickly
But
give you a refresher?
if there was some sort of
Yeah.
yeah.
So the project is basically a phone book. Think of a phone book of talent, Cardano talent. Think of all of the people being there, and hopefully there'll be an Andamio integration as well. So along with the phone book of talent, they'll also have like some verified credentials. So that is the project, and it is developed by Maureen and her co-developer, but it is not necessarily open for other Gimbalab developers to join in and learn.
Could we not do?
Go ahead. Yeah.
Well, could we not, as part of the proposal, say, okay, well, its development there needs to be a committed, I don't know, 6, 10 live coding sessions that we can record and we can put on as Gimbalabs content. Would we not that is a value? It's not got a financial value, but something like that, I think it could be justified.
Oh, 100%. I agree. So that is why we can suggest to Maureen, but it's Maureen's proposal. So she'll have to make the final decision if that's what she wants or not. But yeah, you can absolutely suggest to her. That's what I'm thinking. Does anyone have opinions on this? Because I feel like I'm giving too many of my own opinions. Yeah. So since everyone is familiar with ADA experts, anyone else? Any thoughts on this? So let me ask you like a bigger question. Forget about like one specific example. So this document as is, would it help you decide on consenting to a for-profit project?
I think it's safe to try.
Yeah.
What was that? So Lewis said yes. Andrew, how about you? Let's do
Yes,
a round. Let's say yes or no or concerns. Yes, Andrew, go for it.
Yes, it's safe to try.
Fair enough. James?
I think this document is very safe and very helpful. And just thinking a bit more about the ADA experts proposal, one idea just for everybody to chew on is we had the opportunity with a project like that to advise on in some way, or practice being advisors to a project. And as we considered all of this, I want to think about how Gimbalabs might serve as an incubation hub, where we're able to share our expertise, but maybe claim that as the thing we're learning about. So I like this document. I like that it keeps options open, and I still don't have a easy yes or no answer to what I would have said about the Ada experts proposal, but I think there's some really good questions that follow.
All right, sounds good. Adriel, what are you thinking?
Safe enough to try.
Fair enough, thank you. Nelson, how are you feeling about this policy document?
Yeah, this doc looks pretty good. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Nelson. Gideon, how are you feeling? Okay, Gideon gives a thumbs up. Jethro, how are you feeling about this document?
I think I think some points here. Yeah, and permit me to say that. Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Jethro. Ahmad, I think you might have joined late, but if you have the context of this document, how are you feeling about this document?
Yeah, I joined in pretty late.
All
Sorry.
right. All right. You're all good. You're all good. All right. So I am calling this safe enough to try and keep this document as is. I guess we have a base level funding policy for the time being. All right, guys. So this is our
Nice.
second policy that we have consented on. Okay,
It's really
fantastic.
good. Yeah, that's it's still early in season 6, and this is really nice to make this step.
All right. We'll see, and we'll keep changing this as we go forward. So, this is just the beginning. So I feel pretty good about this. Yeah. Okay, so we took a little more time than we wanted. We took 10 extra minutes, but we got to the end of this policy. Coming to the
Which is a good
next
thing, yeah.
one. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All
So we
right.
have 2 more things on the agenda: the
Yes.
hackathon update and the DREP platform.
Yes. So this is just like the weekly updates on what happened. So let's start with the hackathon update. You don't have to do this today, Jethro, but if you want to do it, you are welcome to. Do you want to give us an update on what happened in the hackathon and stuff like that? Because this week you are closing the hackathon and I'm pretty excited for you. Do you want to give us an update, Jethro?
Yeah, I can just talk about. I don't know if the update should include all the projects or just talk about some of the projects or just.
No, like this is open. Like tell us like anything that you want to tell us about. You don't
Okay,
have to.
okay.
Yeah.
What works
I
for you?
guess I will just talk about the number of the projects that were submitted
Mhm.
and what the project was about.
Absolutely.
So we got 6 total project submissions. The first one was about an event click. It's a platform for managing of events. People should register and those type of things. The second one is Python Pluto scripts. Okay, sorry, this was for a development toolkit, like Python development toolkit in ICANN. Yeah. The next one was APOD. So this one is a crowdfunding platform based on Web3, Cardano. Like if how do I put?
No, you're right. You're right. It's basically funding for people that need healthcare, and it's a milestone-based on-chain funding. Yeah. Go ahead, Jacob.
Sorry, my connection went off.
Yeah.
Am I still here?
Yes, we can hear
sorry. Yeah, so the one is APOD is for crowdfunding, AID, AID. Yeah, it's a crowdfunding platform for contribution, something like a GoFundMe, but it's a Web3 kind of thing. Yeah.
Yes.
And then the next one was the Node application. This is a Web3 trivia platform for questions and quizzes and stuff. And the last one was Soul Node. So those are the projects we got for the hackathon. So tomorrow we'll be announcing the winner, the second position and the third position.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
So tomorrow will be the rounding up of the event that started in June.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Jethro. Yeah, that was, and
You're
by the way,
welcome,
yeah. By the way, me and Newman, we were judging the hackathon, and there are about, I think, 6 projects that submitted, and some of the projects are really, really like well developed. It's insane. Like, it's so good. We are very surprised. So I'm very excited for what's going to happen to this group. Everyone seems like they're very ambitious, so I have big expectations for that group. Yeah, personally. All right. Next we have community DREP platform, and since Nelson is our boss, we would put him on the hot seat. Nelson, do you want to talk about where we are in this project?
Yeah, I think we're developing the platform really nicely. With now we have Newman leading the Discord bot, and we have the notifications, and we are adding more stuff to it to have more information on it. And yeah, we will be working on how it works page or a document, like a document or a page, probably a page within the app itself, so that we know how it works. And yeah, we are on the clutch of moving to production. We're going to migrate the database to one that we're not using for development, and then we are going to make an announcement and present in open spaces probably next week, so we can start getting into business, start submitting on-chain votes.
I don't think it's meant.
You don't think what?
Sorry. Apologies.
All right. But yeah, you can see that we have now been able to like do most of the stuff that we wanted for an MVP. There are a couple of moving parts still in progress. For example, Adrian has already done the validators that allows us to basically move from a person handling the signing keys for the DREP to NFT, so that we can put it in a multi-sig, or so that it's a bit more decentralized. But we are going to do a datum session for a brief look of the contract with the community to proceed with that, and then we're also going to build transactions on that to get it going. But before that, we will start using this platform by just signing as it is. We'll delegate it to James, but for now, but we will automate that process so that it's just a connection of a wallet. And we have been talking about it, discussing it regularly, around 2 times a week. And yeah, still open for people to join the project if anyone is interested. I think we can, there's a lot of scope to this that we can, make it to a app that's a production scale, that's replicable for other communities. And yeah, it can be a generalized application. So more contributions is pretty much welcome.
And just to add to what Nelson was saying, so getting started at Gimbalabs is the course that anyone that wants to join this proposal, not join this proposal, but anyone that wants to vote on behalf of Gimbalabs, they'll have to do the getting started at Gimbalabs course, and then they can start voting. So for example, if you say you want to vote on this, unless you are done with getting started at Gimbalabs, You can't vote on this. Because I completed the course, I'm able to vote on it. And as far as joining the proposal is concerned, there is nothing stopping you. You can just come talk to us and then join the proposal and start building with us. That's where we are at. And thank you, Nelson, for covering it pretty comprehensively. Pretty soon, we'll be asking for people to start using this tool and giving us feedback. And by the way that this proposal is written is that we'll be getting 6,000 ADA for building this, and the remaining 6,000 ADA we'll get after people use the tool and they give us feedback and we implement anything that is necessary based on the feedback. After that, we'll be getting the other half of it. And we are calling it, I think we are calling it consent-based funding or something like that. Yeah. So that's where we are at. And we still have 25 minutes to go and I don't have anything else to talk about. So I don't know what to do at this point. Does anyone have any ideas? Should we close early or what do you guys think?
I can close out the videos thing very briefly if you
Oh,
like.
yes, please do. Yeah. Is there anything you'd like me to share or do you want to share?
Well,
screen?
I'll keep it brief. I think I've kind of already mentioned it. We're all done there now. So we've created 16 videos and they were all edited and then put onto YouTube, and then it's been all updated onto the Andamio, the course on Andamio. So it's the first 16 videos of the PBBL course that needed changing. Yeah, thanks to the participants, really. Jethro is here. Thanks for his help with the editing. In terms of video creators, we would have been nice to have more of a buy-in, I think. So Alex actually took up most of the work, really. And it was good he did because he's quite experienced around Haskell, and there was a couple of Haskell videos, so we took them on. Caesar did a few, and I did the mesh module. Yeah, no, but it was a nice tight-knit team. So that in that way it worked really well. And Andamio worked really well for it because it's just a case you can come along and you can pick up a task and get on with it. We use Notion as well, and Notion is a great tool. If anything, that probably added a bit of extra sort of admin depth to it, but it needs to be documented, so that's cool. Yeah, so it went well. What I would say, and it's not something I'm particularly putting myself forward for, but there is a further 16 videos that could do with updating. I think the final module of the course 205 is probably a perfect one for live coding, because it's quite in depth when you're getting into the Aiken side of things and the off-chain. Really good module, that one, actually. But maybe that's something we could look at. And maybe somebody would want to put themselves forward to put a proposal forward for that, for the remainder of the course. Just generally, it's a great course, to be honest. And from my own perspective, first coming in to develop around Cardano, it's head and shoulder. I mean, I don't know what's out there now, but it was head and shoulders above anything then, and it probably is now. It really captures a lot. So it'd be nice that we can continue focus on it when it needs updating. Yeah, so it's a successful project for Gimbalabs.
Awesome. Thank you, Andrew. That's awesome. So we can close that out as well. Go ahead, James. In the meantime, yeah, I'll close this out.
Nah, it's just really cool. Very impressive.
In progress, PPBL videos. Take this and move this to done. All right, beautiful. All right. That's all we have for this session. Does anyone have any ideas, or should we get back to work? What do you guys think?
I think we have a new announcement from Santiago in the
Oh,
Discord for
uh-huh,
Asteria, guys. So
uh-huh.
they have the new Cardano Summit discount charts on Asteria mainnet. Yeah, he just shared that. So if you guys want to, get
Where
discount
did they, is that on, where did they share
in
that?
Gimbalabs channel,
On
in the
Gimbalabs channel.
Asteria thread.
Let's see. Oh, there it is. So yeah. So the announcement is that yeah, sorry, my internet is a little bit slow. Devs don't pay full price. They hack their way to discounts. Get Cardano Summit ticket discounts on Asteria. This is fantastic. And if anyone wants to get these discounts, we have a front end
Awesome.
for it.
Nice.
Right. All right. So I am going to stop the recording. Does anyone have anything to say before I stop the recording? Are we
Thanks,
all good?
everybody.
All right. Thank you, guys.